cap, which I lied, we're not done with this, but the cap, you just basically clean it like this. There's not a hole in the top of that. And then that can be set over there. The instruments that were used, you just find the end of them and clean them really well. So that one's clean. And then this basket, we'll clean it without messing up the prongs. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to empty the bucket and refill it with just plain water and finish cleaning. Alright, so we've emptied the water out with the cleaning solution in it. Now we've refilled the bucket up. It doesn't have to be any exact. Basically, all you're trying to do is just rinse the scope and all of the instruments. So we're going to put all of the instruments back in the water. Maybe. You don't need the cleaning brush anymore. We're going to put the, whatever that thing is called, back in the water. And then the scope, make sure the cap is on. I've not said this enough, but the cap has to be on, or we're going to need a new scope. So we're going in the water with the cleaning attachment attached. And the buttons. So now we are going to just rinse everything off really well. Buttons are clean. This water container, don't want to blink on what it's called, is rinsed off. Alright, so this time for the scope, since everything is still attached, the cleaning tubing is still attached, you're going to take this end here and leave it in the water for the first 5 times that you're going to pull water through. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now you're going to take the end of the cleaning tubing and throw it on the outside of the bucket. So you're not sucking up water, you're just sucking up air to get the water out of the scope now. So you want to do that 5 times. Alright, so now that is done and it's clean. You want to take the scope again out of the water. Do not disconnect it or you'll just fill the scope back up with water, which defeats the purpose, but that's okay. So we're going to set it on the table for a second. We're going to get the rest of the instruments out of the water. They're clean. So now you can dump this bucket of water. You're done with it completely. The bucket and all. Alright, so pause.
Okay.
Alright, so now that the scope is out of the water, we're going to decipher what goes where. So this, the water container, can go into the retrieval forceps. That's how you shall find it. Bucket. The instruments should be organized, but let's be real, 75% of them are not. So they're also going to go into the retrieval forceps bin for now. And then the pigtail, that's what it's called. The pigtail is going to be found in there. The buttons we are going to put back into the box in their little home. That's where you can find those in there. Don't break anything. And then the cleaning brush will also go in the retrieval forceps. And the tubing you can now, the cleaning tubing you can now take off. And when you do this, make sure you're in like in the surgery room. This works best if you're in the surgery room doing this on the surgery table because you have suction available. I will show you why you want suction available. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw the scope out. You want to take suction tubing, connect it to the suction unit, and cut it on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to connect the end of the suction tubing to the ports in the scope. And this will suck all the water out that's left over from cleaning. Doesn't have to be perfect. So that's that end. So then we're going to go to this end. There's not really anything coming out of that. Nothing out of there. And then connecting that to the end of the scope, and it will actually just go on the end of the scope. I like to let that sit for 2 or 3 minutes, let it get as much water out as possible. Once you're done, you cut the suction unit off, take that off, and then you want to just dry the scope off. Get as much of the water off of the outside as possible. Alright. So now we're going to put it back in the box. Move the box up here. Sorry, Marcy. Mm-hmm. Alright, so at this point you can take the top off, the cap off. There might be a little bit of water, which is fine. Cap goes in there. And then the best way to put the scope in is put the the hand piece first. After I tangle it all up. Just a little water dripping out of it. Handpiece first. And then take the camera end of the scope. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Camera end of the scope. Feed and it's through the thing. And then you want to take the electronics end and follow around. Into like that. If you put the electronics end in first, it's not going to be happy when you get here, and you're going to have to take it all out. So take the handpiece out first, or put it in first. The end. It's clean.